Hello pals, welcome to my channel. My name is Aisling and I'm here to talk to you today about books. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do the quarter year crisis book tag. I actually had to read that because I can not remember the name of it at all every time. So this was created by Róisín at Róisín's Reading last year. I will link her account in the description box below. So there are a series of questions, 9 questions I believe. So we'll get cracking straight away. How many books have you read so far this year? Technically we are in April now, so I'm only going to count the books that I read up to the end of March. So up to the end of March I had finished a grand total of 19 books. So I averaged about 6.33333333 books per month, which is okay for me. I think we're talking about a book and a half a week. I'll settle for that. So question number 2 is, have you already found a book you think might be a 2023 favourite? I actually have, which is quite surprising because last year I didn't give a book 5 stars until December. I'm a bit stingy with my stars. Sometimes I feel bad about that because I've never written a book, so who am I to critique somebody else's heart and soul, eh? Foster. Claire Keegan's Foster. I have rambled about this book quite a few times. It's really short, less than 100 pages, set in Ireland, southeast of Ireland. It's the book that An Cailín Ciúin, or The Quiet Girl, was based on. It is a beautiful, soft, slow, quiet story. I don't know, I just think everyone should read it. It is phenomenal. So yes, that is my favourite read so far this year. Possibly gonna be a top favourite by the end of the year. We have another 9 months to go though, so who knows. Okay, any 1-star books are my least favourite books of the year. Yes, I have DNF'd 2 books so far this year. One of them was The Shadow King. I can't remember the author's name, I'm so sorry, but I just really didn't enjoy it. It's not a book that I would pick up by myself. It was a book chosen for my library book club and I just couldn't get through it. I believe the year that it was published, it was nominated or shortlisted possibly for a Booker Prize. It lost out to the beloved Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. No surprises there. Also, another book that has quite disappointed me this year, and I'm kind of sad to say it because I had high hopes for this book, but it is Shrines of Gaiety by Kate Atkinson. I have DNF'd it, pals. I'm so sorry. I couldn't get through it. So we follow multiple people, so there are multiple points of views in this story. It's a historical fiction book set in London in maybe the early 1900s, 1920s or so. So basically what's happening is a series of girls are found dead, and it's sort of coinciding with Nellie Coker, the head of a crime family, I guess, being released from prison. We follow her family, we follow a policeman, we follow a friend of a sister of one of the girls that has gone missing, and it sounds like it has the makings of so much, but I got to about page 150 and I DNF'd it. I feel like maybe there were too many points of view. I just wasn't connecting with any characters. I was getting a bit lost. I didn't know who was who. I wasn't feeling it, and I'm really sorry, but I will read more Kate Atkinson in future. I just think maybe this was the wrong one to start on. Okay, so straight into question number 4, which is quite an easy one to answer. Straight to the Storygraph data. So my most read genre so far, unsurprisingly, literary fiction was my top genre at 9 books. It's my bread and butter. I've always said I love literary fiction. Surprisingly though, my second most popular genre that I've read in the first quarter of the year was fantasy. I'm not surprised because obviously I know what I've read so far this year, but I feel like my reading tastes are definitely changing because up to maybe a year or 2 ago I just really disliked fantasy, really wasn't into it, just couldn't do it. I felt like they were just too much lore, too much. But I've tried to read a lot of fantasy and just wasn't able. But I feel like in the past couple of years, I've been kind of picking up a bit on that. I guess it's becoming more popular in some ways. Or maybe I'm just seeing it a lot more in Bookstagram and Booktube. Oscar has decided to join me here again. Hello, cat. Okay, question number 5 is a book that surprised you. I am gonna pick for this one The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm sorry, the reason it surprised me is not a good reason. I know it's well beloved and I was really looking forward to reading it, but actually what surprised me was that I found it such a drag. I found it so difficult to read. It just wasn't for me, pals. It just wasn't for me. Potentially I might continue with the series just to see if maybe it clicks with me a bit more, but I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it too much, unfortunately. Sorry, Holly Black, and sorry to all your lovely fans. Okay, question number 6 is a book that's come out already in 2023, so in March or February or January. I don't know why I said that backwards. My brain doesn't work the best. So a book that's come out in 2023 already that I'm really looking forward to reading, and Oscar is headbutting my arm, so if you see me like getting jerky, it's the cat, it's not me. Well, it is me, maybe. Love you. Anyway, so the one book, because there's one book I'm really excited to read that's been published this year so far, is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. It is a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, which I read last year and absolutely adored. I devoured it within a matter of a few days, which is quite impressive because it was also a chunk of a book. This one in particular has, oh jeepers, 846 pages. I am looking forward to reading it. I have heard that it is a little bit more heavier on the political side of things than the Priory, so it's getting really good reviews, but I have heard that it is a little bit of a slog in the beginning trying to get your head around everything, so maybe that's what's been putting me off reading it so far. If you don't know about Priory of the Orange Tree or A Day of Fallen Night or Samantha Shannon in general, if you love fantasy, if you love sapphic stories, she's your girl. She's a young author, she's fantastic. I'm gonna read the blurb for this book for you. So Tanuva Melem is a sister of the Priory. For 50 years she is trained to slay worms, but none have appeared since the Nameless One, and the younger generation is starting to question the Priory's purpose. The cat's making this really difficult. To the north, in the Queendom of Innis, Sabran the Ambitious has married the new king of Hroth, narrowly saving both realms from ruin. Their daughter Glorian trails in their shadow exactly where she wants to be. The dragons of the east have slept for centuries. Dumai has spent her life in a Sakanese mountain temple trying to wake the gods from their long slumber. Now someone from her mother's past is coming to upend her fate. When the Dread Mount erupts, bringing with it an age of terror and violence, these women must find the strength to protect humankind from a devastating threat. Intricate and epic, A Day of Fallen Night sweeps readers back to the world of the Priory of the Orange Tree, showing us a course of events that shaped it for generations to come. I'm really looking forward to that one. I think it's interesting that it's set in the same world as the Priory, but it's not the same characters. I loved the characters in the Priory of the Orange Tree. They were really intricate, really well developed. Just, I loved them. They were a little bit grey as well, morally, a lot of them, which, you know, I love that because it's realistic, and the cat is at it again. We're gonna go for question number 7. So one goal that you're succeeding at this year. So my one reading goal for this year was to read one book, and not just any book, but one book in particular, and that was to read War and Peace. And dear watcher, I did it. I finished it last month in March. It was a lot. I don't regret reading it. I will never do it again. It's an infamous Tolstoy story set around the Napoleonic Wars. There are almost 600 characters in this book. Tolstoy had a lot of words, he had a lot to say. He didn't paint Napoleon in the best light, can't blame him, he was a Russian after all. I loved some of the characters in the story, wasn't so fussed on a lot of the war campaigns, the war side of things, but look, it's War and Peace, so what do we expect? Okay, so one goal you made that you need to focus on? You mean aside from locking my cat out of the room when I'm filming my videos? Never. We love the chaos. Okay, so last year in July, the day of my birthday, I decided, right, I'm going to start the Around the World book challenge where you read a book set by an author from every country of the world. I thought I would be doing a lot better than I have been doing. I haven't been doing so well. So I have a spreadsheet with every country of the world on it, and I have ticked off Germany, which was Perfume by Patrick Suskind, loved it. Norway, which was The Ice Palace by Tarjei Vesaas. I pronounced that really wrongly, but it was this lovely little modern classic about two girls who befriend each other in Norway. They quickly build this kind of quite intimate bond. One of the girls goes missing on the ice. That is all I'm going to say about that. Oh my god, she's eating my plant. Stop it. Good girl. And then Switzerland, I read A Castle in the Clouds by Kristen Gear just after Christmas, so I read it when the book was set. It's a lovely young adult kind of book set in a hotel. If you're looking for something a little bit lighthearted, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of intrigue, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Then United Kingdom, so the first one that I read was Maggie O'Farrell, Hamnet. I know a lot of people are like, but she's Irish. She's from Northern Ireland, so she is from the UK. But I've read so many books by authors from the UK since then as well, so even if you decide that one doesn't count. The United States, the first book that I read by an author from or set in the United States was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which needs no introduction, by Gabrielle Zevin. Wasn't particularly into it myself, but here we go. And then Vietnam, I read Wandering Souls by Cecile Pin. Again, I enjoyed it, but I just didn't think maybe it was as great as I was expecting, you know, given all the hype. Oh, and I actually haven't written in Russia, but Russia was War and Peace, so that's not very many countries, and there are a lot of countries in the world. I think where I'm really faltering is that I'm trying to read books that I have on my shelves, and sadly I haven't got a very diverse collection of books. Apparently a lot of them are by Irish authors, UK authors, or US authors. I really need to work on that because there's some beautiful work from around the world, and I just really want to read a bit more. But I am as well, like I excuse myself a little bit because I am trying to get through this massive TBR, physical TBR, so all the books that I own. Never mind what's on my Kindle, we'll just ignore that and talk about that another day. Okay, and then question number 9, and the final question is new to me booktubers that I would recommend. Okay, I have quite a few of these. Okay, so I did my booktube newbie tag video a few months ago. At this stage it will be at, and I think most of these people kind of came to me through that video, or I found them through their booktube newbie tags. I will say people who read books are lovely, aren't they? No time for aggro, we just got to be reading all the time. Everyone has been so friendly and so lovely, so I really thank you for that. Like, it's been such a joy to have this teeny tiny little corner of the internet to talk to people about books, so thank you so much for being here. Okay, I am just going to list a few. So as told by Maddie, whom I will link below, I will link everybody below, Priscilla at Evening Reader, Katie at Katie's All Booked, Kit the Reader, Michaela reads, so Michaela certainly does read. Michaela flies through the books. The last one, but certainly not the least, is Bex at Sniffing the Sheets. Bex actually just released a video about books for book lovers, and it was really lovely and really enjoyable, so I would also recommend that. I will try to link as much as I possibly can in the description box below. My cat is about to push over the camera, but anyway, I will have tagged Róisín's video, so if you want to get the questions from there and follow along, I'm not going to tag anybody in particular. So if you're into this kind of content, please consider subscribing or liking, or if not, that's cool too. I hope you're doing really well, having a lovely day, and I shall talk to you next week. Thanks for being here. Mind yourself and mind each other. Bye bye.